Okay, we are live. Okay. Hello, hello. Welcome to our Twitter Spaces where Bitcoin Hackathon builds something that matters on Bitcoin. Today, we are joined by Trevor Owens, who is the founder of the Bitcoin Frontier Fund, as well as Ninja Alerts and many other companies. And he is also the co-creator of the Ordinal Show, which is the top, I would say, the top show, right, that's spearheading the Bitcoin Renaissance culture for ordinals. But today, we know him as the lean startup guru. Okay, Trevor has brought the lean startup to over 50 countries around the world. His system that he's evolved beyond the normal lean startup system has helped over hundreds of thousands of founders to launch their startups. And now he's bringing the system to Bitcoin, right? And as part of the hackathon, you guys get a front row seat to watch his newest videos on how to do this. But before we release those materials to you, we've invited Trevor here to share with us how to make the best of those videos. Hi, Trevor. How are you doing today?
Good, Albert. Great to be here and excited for this hackathon.
Yeah, awesome. It's great to have you. You were part of the hackathon before, and we made some really big waves going to that hackathon. You helped make it become, at that time, the biggest hackathon on Bitcoin early this year, right? And it was the first ever Ordinals hackathon. Thanks for tipping us off about the Ordinals phenomenon before it became a phenomenon. So that was awesome. And now we're, as you can see, many of these sponsors from last time came back, and they've more than doubled down, right? Before they were 3,000 or 4,000 per sponsor. Now it's like 25,000, 50,000 a sponsor, right? So now this level hackathon is commensurate to the prices of Ethereum hackathons, right? And then, so that's the reason why people have put prices up, is to invite more people from Ethereum. Okay, and then so one of our judging criteria for this hackathon is you have to build something that matters. That's probably the most important one, and that's why we've invited Trevor here to share with you how to build something that matters. And so, Trevor, what if I'm a contestant, right? Like, let's say I'm enrolled, I'm a contestant, I want to build something that matters. Again, I have these videos in my hand, right? These videos show me how to make sure I'm solving a customer pain point. And if I'm not, then they show me how to pivot. They also have a great tool that you and your team invented, right? The experiment board that is basically the foundational logical structure, the scientific method, right? To pivot and iterate towards something that matters. Can you sort of summarize in your own words, if you're a contestant and watching these videos for the first time, how would you make the most of it?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think being a founder is extremely hard, right? And we're conditioned to believe this mythology of like Steve Jobs or of Elon Musk or of Jeff Bezos, or insert your favorite person here. And we're told a certain, Hollywood version of the story, right? And the mistake that people make is that they think that the best founders like will these ideas into existence. And there is a lot of willing happening, but they're not bringing something to market that the market wasn't ready for, right? Timing is the most important factor in success of startups. And in order to be good at timing, and you need to not only have a good understanding of the technology, but also a good understanding of the market and how the markets work. And in fact, understanding the market is far more important than understanding the technology. I mean, they both help each other. But if you had to pick only one, you'd be much more successful. If you could have 100% knowledge of the market, like, you'd be super successful, right? Like, and then you could figure out the technology. Technology can be solved with money, but the market can only be solved with like your brain and with your empathy of like the customers, and with experience of how markets work and how users work and user psychology. And so the whole point of the lean startup model and the videos that I've made and things like that are to help you figure out the market, and also understand your own psychology, and understand how to navigate market dynamics. And I think the lean startup method is the best method that exists, and probably the one of the best that's possible to do that, to navigate the market, to figure out what use cases people are looking for, and figure out how you find product market fit, because product market fit is what makes a startup successful. Like, there will never be a startup that doesn't have product market fit that is successful. It's impossible. You can build whatever you want. You can build whatever technology with unlimited resources that you think is amazing, but if it doesn't have product market fit, it will die. And if you find, on the other hand, if you find product market fit, you can get the resources to build great technology. So it's like the best product isn't the best technology isn't the one that wins in the market. It's the technology that finds product market fit and gets adoption. And lean startup is all about that. It's all about, how do you figure out what users want? How do you find something that people are going to pay for, people that they're going to use all the time, that's going to be meaningful for them, and that you can grow into a massive business.
Wow, thank you for that, Trevor. That's very insightful. Let's actually, that was in a nutshell the whole process, right? But of course, there's a lot more to that. So let me double click into it. Like, if I was a contestant on the pieces, I would probably want to know about. So the first thing that, Trevor, you mentioned is timing is the most important. That probably, yeah. I mean, like, look, the market is a force of nature, and you want to time it correctly so that force of nature is working for you, not against you, right? But how do you understand market timing? Well, you got to dive in, right? And so Trevor, you've invented this experiment board that's used by hundreds and hundreds of thousands of founders, right? Including people running through our cohort. And now a lot of them are doing revolutionary things, right? In the beginning, they were doing X, pivoting several times, right? On average, we took account as like about 5.5 times the average successful founder going through our program will pivot, or roughly 5.5 times. I'm talking about the ones that actually can iterate towards product market fit and get funding, right? Everyone else, we're not counting in this equation. So there's an element of pivoting, but what's happening during that process, is we're talking to customers, we're doing research, right? And we're beginning to see the lay of the land and how the market is moving, right? And Trevor, as you said, without that empathy, we don't really have a true sense of the market timing, right? And what better place to start than making sure your users actually want it right now, right? Can you sort of go into that process and share with people, if you're using these tools, what to look out for, what are you looking for, and then what to look out for to make sure these tools work in your favor, right?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest challenges that founders face is turning something abstract into something specific, right? And so we always have founders define a customer segment. We say that every customer has a problem, every problem has a solution. Not every solution solves a problem, not every problem has somebody who cares about it, right? And the fact that there's so many solutions that don't solve a problem, 95% of startups fail. The fact that there's so many problems in society at large, global warming, list your favorite societal problem, inflation, et cetera. It's like, these things are high level problems that don't affect someone specifically. Like, they affect like a group of people. You're looking to figure out the problem that like Albert has, or Trevor has, or someone specific has, and then you're trying to find a larger segment of people that represent that demographic and that problem. And so going and founders are always like thinking like, oh, but I want my business to be so big. It's like, that's fine, but the biggest things start small. The biggest things start like an addictive drug for a small group of users, and then they grow to a bigger audience, not like a vitamin for a large group of users. And if you focus on too large of a group, then you'll never be specific enough to really validate your idea. So, it's a iterative process of discovery. It's about, first of all, documenting your hypothesis. So writing down your customer and problem hypothesis. Who is the customer? A specific person? Is it Albert? Is it Trevor? Is it, DeFi users with at least $50,000 in Ethereum? Is it, you need to make specific criteria and understand how to segment the market. So if you're saying DeFi users, for example, well, that is a very broad segment. There's different ways to segment that market based on what you're trying to do. So some DeFi users may be trying to gamble. Some DeFi users may be trying to preserve wealth and earn a smaller percentage yield. Some DeFi users might be doing other things. There's a lot of different ways to segment that market. It could be based on what they're trying to do. It could be based on their net worth. It could be how much they're investing. It could be based on their portfolio. That's up to you to figure out as a founder. And there's no cheat sheet. It's like when you're doing something truly innovative that's never been done before, there's no cheat sheet. There's general guidelines and principles, but you're inventing, like you're finding it, like you're finding the gold. You're mapping the Amazon rainforest, that's never been mapped before. And so figuring out that segmentation, that customer problem hypothesis, as specific as possible, and also setting a success criteria. Say if I'm going to talk to 10 people who meet this definition, how many must confirm they have a problem, and what does it even mean to confirm that they have the problem? Right? These are the things they have to figure out how to actually measure, quantify, and test on day one. And you're not going to do perfect, but you'll improve over time. But at least going through the motions means that you're doing infinitely better than someone who's not doing this. Because Eric Ries always used to love to say, like, if your strategy is to ship it and see what happens, you're guaranteed to succeed at shipping it and seeing what happens. But you're going to learn nothing. You're not going to learn anything from just putting something out there because you didn't document your hypothesis the first time around. And there's actually an important aspect of human psychology, which is how the brain works, that shows us that, like, when humans don't set a success criteria or a prediction about what's going to happen, then they tend to like backwards rationalize that what actually happened, they expected it, they knew it was going to happen, and they learn nothing. And so setting up that customer hypothesis is the first step. The second step is generally starting with customer interviews. So there's 3 methods that you can use to experiment and test with users very early. The concept of minimum viable product is not a product, it's actually an experiment. It's the idea of spending the minimum amount of effort to learn something new about customers to get the highest amount of learning. So it's like the highest ROI in learning, minimum effort, maximize learning. There's 3 methods that we typically use. One is customer interviews. The second is landing pages and pre-selling. And the third is low tech trials. So these increase in like the specificity of your hypothesis, but they decrease in like the broadness of knowledge that you can gain. They also, each step along the ladder like lowers your risk. So you generally want to start with customer interviews because it's very quick. You can go very broad, you can explore. And then once you've found a strong pain point and you found an early adopter, or what we call is like a cookie monster, a person who hears your idea and they're just like over the moon excited because you solve a problem for them, not because they think it's cool, but like because they have an exact problem that this solves, and they can tell you in detail about their problem and why this solves it. And then you go into the pre-selling, which is like you get them to sign up, you launch a landing page, you get a bunch of people to sign up, maybe you get them to pay something before the product is built so that it's like validating the solution. And then finally, low tech trial is where you are manually solving the problem, manually performing the duty of the solution as manual labor, as opposed to building your entire product, because there's a lot of ways things can go wrong in the implementation that can be solved and discovered through manually solving the problem for like one user. And so customer interviews, pre-selling, low tech trial, you're going to start with customer interviews. That's the fastest way to get out there. So you need to come up with an interview script. You need to know how to ask the right questions. And there's going to be a lot of pivoting just from the interviews alone in between the interviews and getting to the point where you're validating a solution.
Wow. That was a great summary of what people are going to have what people could look forward to, right? Because it's about 2.5 hours of videos. Is very compact. There's no glut in these videos. It's a great tutorial on how to begin to start the process, eventually master it, right? So let me unpack that. The first thing you said in this segment was being specific about your customer segment. And I noticed also that was a very, very challenging thing for a lot of people, right? Because a lot of people, they say, well, I'm focusing on, in your example, DeFi, or I want to focus on like third world nation. And that's just such a broad market, so what, like in your experience, why is this so hard? Or, what are some tricks to, get away from that macro point of view and then get down into a specific customer segment? Because like you said, you want to create something, a product that's so awesome, it's almost like a drug. They got to keep coming back to it. Not like a vitamin where, you buy the vitamin and you forget about it, right? You forget the vitamin, and that's no way to start off a business, because that's not sustainable, right? Unless like you hammer it with marketing money, right? But if you can find a group of customers that you don't have to market to, they just want to like rip it from your hands, right? Then isn't that like, that's obviously a much more efficient way to do a startup, which actually is paramount, because a startup doesn't have the luxury of hammering the market with a lot of marketing budget, right? So really the key is to be specific and then find what you, as what you said, the cookie monster, right? So how do people get out of that macro mentality and into that very specific mentality? Like what's some advice you give for people on that?
Yeah, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are impatient, which is a good quality, but they tend to skip steps, right? So the vast majority of startups, like I see startups all the time, they launch a product, they raise funding, et cetera, but they never get product market fit with even one user, right? And like before you have product market fit with like thousands of users, hundreds of thousands of users, millions of users, you need to get product market fit with one user first, right? And ideally that's yourself. Ideally that's you, your team, people, your friends, people and so you can't really like skip steps, right? And it's also just like a matter of practice. So I think a lot of founders have never done anything like this before. It's not how we're taught to think in school. We're taught to like read the book, check the answer key, there's only one right answer kind of a thing. And this is like a combination of creativity and science and whatnot, and the scientific method. And it's just not something that people are used to. So I think practicing it and learning it is really important and makes you better at it. And then the third thing I would say is that it can also just be hard to know what hard to know. Like a lot of times we'll see a pattern where people start out very broad in their first customer segment, and then their experiment fails, but then they become much more specific because they find people who they probably like failed their success criteria, and then but they found like one or two who confirmed it, so they hone in on that customer segment, and then it becomes much more specific. But we always see that like after doing, like, this is a game of quantity, like the more experiments you do the better, like so, and which is hard too. Like people are used to like sitting at home and thinking and analyzing and not doing, and this is like a 70% doing, 30% thinking exercise. Just by doing more experiments you get better. And like that skill of being specific and also the understanding of who the customer is will get better over time. Like we always see it with every experiment.
Yeah, I totally agree. And learning how to do customer interviews the scientific way is just a lifelong skill. It's not just to find a pain point, because I notice a lot of especially in the Bitcoin era, the awesome thing is most of the stuff is not built. There's like ideas like all over the place, just unicorn level ideas pick up. But what I've noticed is that a lot of times the first mover is not always the winner. And I took a look into some of these companies, and what happens is, when there's no product in the market, everyone's blind, right? And then if you're the first product, then you're the one-eyed man in the land of the mine, and you're a king. And then people like might get lazy because of that. But then the second, third, fourth product that comes to market, they investigate what you did well and what you didn't well, and then they start iterating beyond you, right? But if people had a habit of staying close to their customers, they wouldn't feel like that false sense of security that, hey, I'm the only one and people are all coming to me. No, you need to figure out exactly, like, with continual customer interviews, what else you can do better, right?
Right.
Yeah, so this is a skill that it just takes a very short amount of time to learn. Trevor breaks it down really great. We're also going to have run workshops, right? And you guys have been using it all the way, even to product market fit and then beyond, right? So that's one thing that to look forward to. So it's not just something that you'll be doing just for the hackathon, right? But it is one of the requirements, one of the prerequisites to win, to build something that matters. Now, how much time would you suggest people to do like one experiment, like interview of 10 people? What's your suggestion?
Yeah, I mean, I would say at maximum efficiency, you can interview 10 people in a couple of hours, but more realistically, like especially remote, if like depending on, I would say really slow is like a week. Like if it takes you like a week, you're like you're doing it really slow. Okay. Like you need to, and you're not hustling hard enough, and you're not being squeaky as a wheel, and you're not, going outside your comfort zone, because you need to be like desperate to get these interviews. You need to like, you know, interview every single person that you can find. And a week is really slow. But I think you can do it if like probably on average, like a full day or like 2 days max would be average. And like fast would be half a day to a few hours, like you maybe even have a group, you put together a Discord group, you put together a Telegram group with a bunch of people that are interested, and then you just like ping them who's ready for a call, sign up for this Calendly link. You just cold call people, to get those interviews done quickly. And then for like a landing page, it takes a little bit longer. So, you have to make a page, you have to like get it all set up, maybe get a domain name configured. And then you need to launch it and like get the response from people. I think that is more realistically maybe twice as much time as an interview, like at max efficiency. So maybe like the best landing page would be like half a day, and then more realistically like a day, just to see like how many, to get all the signups you can. And then if it's taking you like 2 days, I think that's to launch it, like that's pretty slow. If it's taking you a week to get a bunch of people to sign up, I think that's pretty slow, or a sign of lack of demand. And then a low tech trial can take, even longer, like multiple days. And then, so it's like an increase in the time it takes generally from interviews to landing pages and pre-selling to low tech trials.
Yeah. I mean, you're being nice. You're giving them like, the 1 week option, which is fine, because by the way, everyone, for a hackathon, you can set up now, but we don't accept any code until August 26th, right? And the reason for that is that we want to give you about 10 days time to run through the lean start methodology, as Trevor has evolved it to his most leanest form, pun intended, right? And also another thing is, if you guys know about the workshops that Trevor used to do. Trevor, we also did some together before, right? It's like 2.5 days, guys, to run like 4 to 5 experiments, plus a landing page, plus creating the pitch. 2.5 days. Okay, so
yeah, the slow people have a landing page by the end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Fast people have already done a low tech trial, and like we've seen some crazy stuff with people like, running 20 experiments or 10 experiments, where they like really pivoted a lot, and then mocking up a product in an hour, selling it, like we've seen some crazy high
Selling it,
stuff.
taking money, right? Pre-orders. Yeah. So guys, it can definitely be done. And in fact, I would even like, if you give yourself a little bit less time, you'll find that is actually better than giving yourself more time.
Yeah. I mean, realistically, if you have 5 people on your team, like you can do 5 interviews in 45 minutes. Like if you had, one for each, or 10 interviews in an hour and a half, 2 hours, right? And then you can come back, every person did 2 interviews, they share the results, go on to the next experiment. So, I think the times I mentioned like a week and stuff like that's like one person. That's like one person doing 10 interviews.
Yeah, that's one person too.
You know what I mean? Like that's one person's speed. Like you should be able to do it in like, if you have 5 people who all studied the videos, all have the questions, all on the same page about who to target, who are reasonable competence. It's like, let's meet back here in 2 hours. Everybody has 2 interviews done.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it. Now, for our specific role, so this is great. Teamwork is also one of the judging criteria. We're gonna make it a little bit tougher because the prize money it's a lot of prize money, right? The grand prize is $30,000, which can definitely get you to your pre-seed money and get you into an accelerator, such as Trevor's Bitcoin Frontier Fund, right? So it's a lot of money. So we're going to make it a little more challenging. You can have 2 to 4 people on a team for this hackathon, right? 2 to 4 people. And of course, if you have 2 people, then yes, you can split the $30,000 2 ways. But the chance of winning goes way down, right? If you go against a talented 4-person team, then you better be careful. So you guys, there's some strategy involved here. Like if I was in the competition, I'd probably at least have 3 to 4 people. Like try to max it out there. Because like Trevor just do the math for you. If you have 4 people, you divide and conquer, you cover up so much ground in just half a day. And if you do 1 experiment a day, when we do 5 experiments, in our experience, it's very hard not to find a customer pain point big enough to build something that matters, right? Which brings us back to what we're talking about right now with Trevor is, how do you build something that matters? Trevor, we're running up on time pretty soon. So are there any like last words of wisdom before we cut into like these, maybe we could do like 10, 15 minutes of Q&A, because I know you got a hard stop on the hour.
Yeah, I think, treat this as an opportunity to do something different. Like treat this as an opportunity to do something a different way than you normally would, to learn, to grow, to meet new people, to change yourself. Like it's like you want to change your startup, change yourself. Like start at the core. Expand your knowledge, become more self-aware. Try something outside your comfort zone, and this experience will immediately pay for itself. Like if you can I think this is experience, like as much as there's like prize money, stuff like that, you're really investing in yourself, and that's like always the thing that gives you the highest return, is if you can invest in yourself, because when you grow as an individual, everything else in front of you grows as well, even if it hasn't happened yet.
Well, Trevor, you make us sound like saints almost, because this isn't like, by going through a hackathon, they're actually investing in themselves, but we're putting up the prizes. So we're almost giving them, incentivizing them to invest in themselves. And then they get a prize at the end. But I guess that is what's happening.
Yeah.
That's what's happening. Okay, wonderful. So we know you got to jump on the hour. So let's open up the floor for any questions. So, and by the way, everyone, if you sign up to the hackathon, there's instructions. You can go to the in the chat, sign up, go to our Discord. In this Discord, you'll find a resource channel, and we're going to release Trevor's videos this week. But stay tuned, because there's going to be a set of videos that link up with the judging criteria, so you guys know exactly what you guys have to do to be the most competitive to win these prizes. And by the way, since our prizes are 100% undiluted, meaning that our platform takes 0 fees for operations and 0 fees for marketing, right? So 100% of the prize is going to the winners. That's it, right? And we have over $100,000 in prizes now. So 100% of that is going to all you guys. But we need your help for co-marketing, right? Our prize sponsors are giving us the goal, right? They're willing to unlock, because this is the biggest prize pool right now on Bitcoin hackathons of this year. Right? For every 200 active participants, they will unlock 20% of the prize pool. Right? So I just took a look. We're like 85 contestants right now, right? So reply to this tweet, retweet it. Every single bit counts, right? We want to make sure that we have 1,000 participants and we can unlock all the prizes, right? Okay. So click in there, sign up, join the Discord, reply and retweet. Perfect. Okay, so let's see. Who wants to ask a question? This is a rare opportunity. Trevor is I've searched far and wide, and I would consider him the top lean startup person in the world right now, alive. So let's invite some people up. I see MetaPanda here. Who wants to ask a question? Do my screen freeze up? Okay. So everyone's like fairly shy right now. Okay, so it's okay. So let me while you guys are thinking, let me do a shout out to all our prize sponsors and our media partners. Again, this is brought to you. The Bitcoin Olympics is brought to you by the Bitcoin Startup Lab, a top pre-accelerator on Bitcoin. We are a pre-accelerator. So what that means is that when you go through our program, you turn your idea into investment-worthy startup. That way you maximize your chances to get into an accelerator such as Trevor's Bitcoin Frontier Fund. And they have a core coming up that's going to also include a heavy component of ordinals. But it's not just ordinals, but they're upgrading their program. So if your ordinals project, also apply. Okay. And then also a big shout out to our media partners. First of all, BTC Inc., which is parent company of Bitcoin Magazine. They're the biggest Bitcoin media right now globally. And also Crypto Slate. They're agnostic crypto media company that is bringing Bitcoin news to the rest of the crypto world. Right? And a big shout out to our prize sponsors, Sora Ventures, Interlay, Rootstock, ICP, On-Chain Monkeys. I hear maybe Stacks and some others are going to join in. So keep it coming. Big shout out to all of them, because all of us will come together to do this Bitcoin Olympics. Again, the prizes are 100% diluted. Why? Because we want to maximize the prize money to attract as many builders into Bitcoin as possible, so we could build a sustainable Bitcoin economy together. This is going to be super fun. Okay, I already see people like chatting in our Discord. So if you guys want to do something for yourself, like Trevor said, invest in yourself. We're going to have panels, we're going to have speakers, we're going to have how-to tutorials, we're going to have live workshops, right? This is like the full gamut. This is like the white glove service of hackathons, okay? And we start accepting new code, right? It's got to be original, it's got to be related to Bitcoin. We have $50,000 in agnostic prizes. So it doesn't matter what technology you use. You can use Stacks, you can use like Interlay, you can use like anything you want, okay? $50,000 in agnostic prizes. And then a level down, right? We have over $100,000 in technology specific prizes. So you could go to the website, you can go to the dev post and you can check that out. It's also in our Discord, right? So just be aware of that before you start coding. Okay, perfect. Okay, so look, it looks like we're almost running up on time here. So how about if there's no other questions, maybe we just sign off here, because this video we're going to share it in our Discord. Okay. Oh wait, I know who I'm going to call in here. Just Paul. Why don't we invite Paul up? Let's see if he's got time to come up here. Bobby, can you invite Paul and Metapanda? Because I know these two guys. And we still have like 10 minutes to Trevor. So all right, let's see. Hey Trevor, when did you start when did you start practicing lean startup method?
2010.
Wow, it's like 13 years ago. Wow. So, and we had the privilege of watching your most recent videos, right? So this is like after like countless iterations and going around to over 50 countries, and after not just training 100,000 people, but also launching several startups yourself, right? So this is going to be pretty good. And we're going to share that with people coming to hackathon. It's going to be awesome. Yep. All right. So look, I think I'm not sure if my screen is frozen, but if there's no questions, then we're going to sign off here. Thank you everyone for listening. See you guys. Like, remember to sign up, and see you guys in the Discord, and we're going to have a great hackathon. Thank you. I'm signing off here. Stop recording.